We're here at the Linny Studios at Lynn Hall, and I'm super excited to be here with my good friend, Chef Jorge Guzman. I'm seeing all these different kinds of spices, different kinds of veggies, fruit. What are we making today?
So we're gonna make a dish that's called Poc Chuc. And
what does that translate to?
So it's Mayan. So I grew up in a city called Merida. In the Yucatan, a lot of words are like, they're Mayan words, and the population still speaks the language, which is really cool. Poc means toasted, and Chuc means charcoal. Okay. So basically cooked over charcoal.
Yep.
And it's traditionally you can do it with anything, but a lot of times it's done with pork. And then you marinate it in like a sour orange marinade and mojo de ajo, and then a recado. If you're familiar with what a jerk is in Jamaica or a marinade here in the States, a recado is similar to that. Recados can be dry, they can be a paste, they can be a spice blend, and there's like an individual one for almost every dish, you know. So today we're gonna make recado en escabeche, and that's basically like a dry spice blend with bay leaf, clove, pepper, allspice, and cumin. These are all really common ingredients in the Yucatan, and we just toast them and grind them up.
The food from that region of Mexico, like how is it different from other regions? You know, because when we talk about Mexican food, everyone just automatically in their mind have that view of nachos and, you know, and all that stuff.
People have the misconception that Mexican food is just burritos or enchiladas. Mexico has, you know, a number of different states. Like each of those states has its own regionality and its own type of cuisine and specialty. So the food in the Yucatan is super interesting and really different from what you would consider as an American what Mexican food is, unless you're really, you know, studied up on what that cuisine is.
Sometimes I feel like with Hmong food, we're this like culinary mutt, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of how the Yucatan is too.
Yeah.
It's a set cuisine, but there's so many influences. The jungles were so dense in the Yucatan that if you think about where their influence is coming from, it's not coming from the rest of Mexico because of how difficult it was to get there by land. So it would actually come from outside of that, which is obviously Spanish influence. There's Danish influence, there's Lebanese influence, there's Caribbean influence, and then obviously there's the Mayan influence from the indigenous population. So if you think about how long the Mayans have been on that peninsula, it goes back like 10,000 years. Let's see. You can go a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I'm letting you down.
You never let me down.
I'm letting this 10,000-year-old culture down.
That's a different story.
I love the smell, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's incredible.
In the Yucatan, sour orange is another really like prevalent ingredient. We're going to use that for two applications. We're going to use it for the salsa habanero. We're also going to use it to help marinate the pork.
Tell me a little bit more, or describe a little bit more what a sour orange is.
It's a fruit that grows in that specific area of the Yucatan, and that it's usually like a green skin, and then you cut it open, and it's like this really like kind of almost like vibrant, translucent orange.
Yep.
It's like a cross between a lime, orange, and grapefruit.
Yeah, dude, my mouth is watering.
Yeah, I mean,
I love sour oranges.
It's used for like everything, you know, for marinating, for juicing, for all kinds of stuff.
So if, you know, we don't have access to sour oranges, how do we make that?
So this is what you're gonna do. I like the ratio of 2-1-1. So, you know, 2 parts lime, 1 part orange, 1 part grapefruit. Okay, so that's a good way to remember it. And then you just, you know, or whatever your preference is, but it does need to be a little bit like sweet and sour. It's kind of
Yeah.
How did you get started in food?
You know, I like to say that I can always remember food as a memory, and they're usually good memories. So I think I just kind of like gravitated towards cooking. I can remember my first like meal I made for the family was nachos. You know, like sheet pan, very traditional Mexican food. Sheet pan nachos, and so that's kind of how I think I got started. My parents divorced early. My dad moved back to Mexico, and so as kids, my brother and I would always go visit him for the summers. And I have like extremely vivid memories of my grandmother and grandfather's house. Big dining room table where, you know, it's tradition to come home for lunch. And, you know, my uncles would come home. You know, you'd have lunch was like 8 to 10 people.
Yeah.
Usually. So I have just a lot of memories of the food that we would eat around that table.
So what are the next steps?
So next we're going to take the pork, season it with a bit of the recado that we made.
Kind of work it in. It's just like a dry rub, you know. So you just
it's like a little dry rub, and like these need to marinate for like 30 minutes. You know, that no longer. You can't marinate this overnight because then all that acidity is basically going to cook the pork. What you're looking for is just to get like a little bit of that tanginess from the acidity, and that's what makes this dish like super interesting. So we're going to add a little bit of the mojo.
What's in the mojo?
Mojo comes from Cuba, you know, that's kind of like the originates. In this one, it's olive oil, sour orange juice, roasted garlic, a little bit of salt, and black pepper, and that's it. So it's super simple.
Yeah.
The Poc Chuc, it's like such a quick dish, but like if you think about everything we've done so far, like making the mojo takes time, making the recado takes time, and then the accompanying dishes, like the salsa, the beans, the other salsa, it's like, while it's a really quick dish to cook, if you don't have these ingredients ready and available, it takes a couple days to do. So next we'll take a little bit of the sour orange juice that we had, and we're just kind of pouring it over.
All those sugars in there, it's going to help with that caramelization once it hits that grill.
Absolutely. So we'll just set it off to the side, and then we'll get onto our salsas and everything else.
Incredible.
So we're going to start the Chiltomate sauce and also the habanero salsa at the same time. So we'll roast off our tomatoes, our habaneros. You know, the Chiltomate sauce is usually made with like one habanero, some tomato, garlic, onions, and then puree it and then refry it in lard. So it's just like a really great condiment.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
And then the habanero salsa is just, it's fuego, it's fire. It's just like, in the Yucatan, it's hard to go anywhere out to eat, any table, and any family home that doesn't have salsa habanero on the table. It's charred habaneros, lime, or sour orange juice and salt. Like, that's it. So it's super spicy. It definitely has a punch. Oh, man. Smells like home.
Chef, we're getting to my favorite part here. It's the grilling. This is what I live for right here.
This is a lot better over charcoal, obviously.
Yep.
But, while we're here.
Man. Oh, there we go. It's the aroma. The perfume.
I like to get like a really good sear and then just keep whipping.
You know, for those who are like, hey, do we have to do this in the grill? Can we put it in the oven? I'm like, man, just do the grill. This doesn't work in the oven. And you really want that caramelization, you know, because like all that sugar in those oranges.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's what's like delicious about it.
Smoking up the joint.
I know.
Man, this is looking really beautiful, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to render that fat down a little bit. I like getting a good char on my food, and like Mexican food, it's like, it's char, like get that flavor. So don't be afraid of fire, but that's when you gotta like, you know, keep turning it. So it doesn't get sooty on you.
This is the same way that my dad would grill. You know, and this is the same way I learned how to grill. You just keep moving. Everything's constantly moving.
I just let it rest for a second or two.
Okay, Jorge, worked all day. Now it's right here. This is the best part.
So we've got what we call frijoles colados, which is just beans cooked, pureed. We've got the chiltomate sauce, and we've got the habanero. We'll call it a condiment because it's like what you put on everything, and that's it's not ketchup, right? And then we've got the Poc Chuc. But the way I would eat it is, you know, I'd put your refried beans down first. You're going fancy.
You know, hey, I gotta keep up.
Pork on top. A little bit of chiltomate sauce, you know, and then just a dab or two of the habanero sauce and go from there. So I'm gonna let you take the first bite. And, you know, make sure you get some pickled red onion, some cilantro.
So you should try to create that perfect bite.
Yep, exactly.
That's so good, man. That char from the grill. I mean, like nothing beats that.
No.
Nothing beats that. And I love just that squeeze of lime.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end, it cuts through all that fattiness. But man, this black bean is incredible. Like
Right.
it really kind of binds everything together.
Yeah, it's just a staple. You know, in Yucatan, we eat a ton of black beans. I love them. I'll eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Food from the Yucatan is savory, it's piquant, it's spicy. It kind of runs the gamut because of all the influence. You know, this is something that's really like dear to me. It's a cool cuisine.
Yeah.
Jorge,
A little bit more. All right. More energy. I get told that a lot.
Yeah. I've been working with this guy for a few years. He's at 110. This is
Yep.
110.
This
We're
is
maxed
it.
out.